While on a flight back from Colorado, I was thinking to myself, if the Gale SMP Season 4 started, who would my teammates even be? After I made it home, I knew exactly who the trio would be. When I betrayed Solid in Season 3, I really didn't expect him to do anything, but he really surprised me. He showed me he had some serious potential, and as you can see in the background footage, he devastated the Guild Forge. None of us expected this, and honestly, it's impressive. I knew that I needed him as my teammate for Season 4. But who else? I knew that I needed my brother as my other teammate. In Season 2, he was a great teammate, and he helped me get the absurd amount of loot you see in the background here. All this loot came from me, him, and Mito betraying the capital. Mito was betrayed, and my brother really showed that he could be a great teammate at times. Now, while he is quite lazy with some things, he could actually help me out with a lot in Season 4, so I recruited him, and the three kings were born. However, a couple days before the SMP started, I actually got a message from Theory of all people. He wanted to be a part of the team. How he knew about the team, I don't actually know, but he wanted to join. And from recent experience in Season 1, he can be a pretty good teammate. The reason why I let Theory in was he was a great teammate and a really good friend of mine. In Season 1, he was one of the few people who got to say that he was king of Autodel, and he did a very good job. So, I let him in the group. And the four kings were officially created.
We got Theory here today. Day one. We got day one of
Is it open?
yeah. No. The stream is on. God damn it! All right, loading, building territory.
I have to return my game. It's not loading.
Hurry up! All right, I'm getting wood now.
There you go.
Apart from the four kings, day one would be a relatively quiet day one. No major groups were created except for the kings, which were initially created before the server even started. It was relatively quiet, horrifyingly quiet. I thought, wow, there's not really much going on, but later, things would play out. The kings were doing great, and our whole objective for day one was just to get the dragon egg and hopefully settle in a base, maybe even get diamond armor. Our objectives were complicated, but we managed to pull through. The beginning was a little rough because it was just me and Theory in the beginning. Solid was still on the way from school, and my brother was still at school. So it was up to me and him to go ahead and begin the grind. As you can see in the background footage, we attempted to take over a bastion, get the loot, get the gold, and right after we hit up another fortress. From there, we get the blaze powder we needed, and then we killed some endermen. After that, we went back to the overworld and started searching for the stronghold. At this point, Solid had logged on, and once we put in the Eye of Ender, we realized we had a problem. We still needed 2 more. So I had to spend around 30 more minutes getting the 2 eyes, and we put them in, and eventually we fought the dragon. At that point, my brother had logged in, so before we actually fought the dragon, we sent one person to go pick him up. Eventually, the dragon fight began, and all of us went through. Solid had perfectly lived, same thing with my brother. Theory had died once, but he recovered his loot. I also died to the dragon, but I also recovered my loot. And right after that, Theory got the kill. The dragon egg was in our possession. And some people were mad. When we announced we got the dragon egg, some people were like, bro, these guys are sweats. But it's funny because the whole time we were having fun. If you were there for the stream, it would have been a great time if you were watching. Anyways, yeah, that was the day one. We purely speedran, got the egg, and next, we needed to find a base. So, based off the original Gehenna from Season 3, we knew that we needed a zombie spawner for a base. We went to go find one, and we found one that spawned, surprisingly. And so, our base began. The very first country that was ever made in Season 4 was made by the Four Kings. And since Solid took control of it, he essentially named it Gehenna, repeating the same tradition from Season 3. Now, this country was starting to be built from day 2 to day 5, and across that period, we grinded like hell. We got all the villagers we needed, and we fully maxed out our diamond armor. We went netherite mining, and I was the first one to get a netherite set, and we were getting very stacked very quickly. Pretty soon, we were going to be a future unstoppable force at this rate. So basically, we were like, hey, come and fight us, guys. Is there anyone to fight us? Anyone? Anyways, we continued grinding for at least 4 more days up to day 9, and then some interesting things started to play out. But in Gehenna itself, we were getting quite worried. My brother wasn't really, doing what he needed to do. He wasn't getting his job done. As I said earlier, he's kind of lazy with certain things, and when he went netherite mining, well, he died to one of the bed explosions. He doesn't know how, and I myself did actually die to a bed explosion, but I did retrieve my loot. However, my brother got so pissed off that he didn't even want to go get his loot. This pissed off the rest of the kings, and we were like, no, we can't work with this guy. And so, we betrayed Krolex. He was killed, and we stole his elytra and stole his loot. From there, we officially named ourselves the Three Kings, and this name would stick pretty much forever. At this point, Gehenna was our saving grace. The Three Kings were becoming hella stacked, and Gehenna was starting to influence the kings to start to expand, do more, maybe start to explore for possibly a country, and that's exactly what we started to do. However, as me and the three were exploring, we ran into this, and this is where the problems begin. Callus Films, also known as Cal. He is an interesting figure within the Gale SMP. Him and his sidekick, Sleepy Surf. They both are a marvel and a wonder within the server. When they began, they immediately spreaded their ideology of peace. They had the idea of building a city that everybody could live in the server. It would all be all well and done. However, an idea of peace in such a server was a laughable idea. When Cal joined, he immediately taught himself about the Four Kings and its members. He wanted to learn about their backstories, and he learned about all the horrifying things. He knew that he needed to form an alliance with these people, or the kings could possibly take them out. And that's exactly what he did, forming an alliance with the Four Kings. Cal also had one more objective. You see, Cal has some mysterious figure within himself, better known as Kronos. This figure has never been released, and it is rumored that it is a deadly, powerful, strategical, and very influential being within Cal. Cal has learned to control such a being, however, it's a matter of time before it might come out. In the first week of the Gale SMP, Cal immediately began building his city for peace. He messed with nobody, was killed by nobody, and killed no one. He was, sticking to his word of peace, and he was beginning construction of his mega city. However, as I mentioned earlier, the kings were exploring around to build their own country, and ran into Cal's country. And Cal was building his city, introducing new members into it, and working with Sleepy and his friend in order to build up this city. They really didn't expect anything to happen to the city because, they had thought that the kings and everybody else had no loot. They weren't aware that the kings were stacked and scouting them out. They had no idea that the kings were about to strike. But why would the kings strike in the first place? What happened to the alliance? Well, at this point, the kings realized, hey, peace? What are you talking about? In the Gale SMP, there is no such thing as peace. There is only one leader to join everyone together, also an empire. But the kings were like, maybe we shouldn't attack it. But over time, we realized it might be free loot, and to be honest, this Cal guy seems a little bit like a joke. And so, the kings attacked the city for peace. After Cal's base was attacked and destroyed, Sleepy Surf decided to go mining to get himself stacked. However, he couldn't help but hear a villager noise and see some gamer tags. He read the gamer tags and found that he had just run into Gehenna 1. This was shocking. He immediately went to Cal and messaged everybody else that was with Cal, and they decided to announce to Gale that they had found his base. Now, since the alliance between Cal and the Kings was destroyed, Cal wanted that to come back, so he decided to blackmail the Kings. He said, hey listen, we won't leak your coordinates, and we won't try to raid you if you form the alliance with us. The King said, no. And then, well, would Cal attack Gehenna? No. For some reason, he allowed the Kings to pack up all their stuff and leave Gehenna. The Kings packed up everything that was useful, destroyed the spawner, took all the chests, killed all the villagers, and ran out of Gehenna. By the time Cal and Sleepy Surf realized what the Kings had done, it was too late. They had moved out, and Gehenna was destroyed. The background footage shows you how much damage there was to the country, and it was devastating. Would we ever come back? No. And I don't believe to this day that anybody has ever occupied or temporarily used the base, but there are signs above the base that people have stopped by. The ruins of Gehenna are still there to this day. You can go check them out. After all that, Cal was disappointed that he managed to get nearly anything, but he did get some loot, and eventually he ran off to go regain what he had lost and hopefully find a new settlement. At the same time, the Kings were pissed off, but I had warned the Kings that a base at spawn was a little risky. The Kings, after that, decided to settle off and find a brand new base. Now, we couldn't just find a zombie spawner, and Krolex had provided coordinates to one, however, it was just too risky. And we knew where another one was, but it was also too risky. We wanted to find the perfect zombie spawner. And eventually, we did. We settled down. But we couldn't just settle. We had to regain our mob heads, and that's exactly what we did. And also, on the journey to find a brand new Gehenna, we had died many times. You see, there was a glitch where if you had Trident and Elytra a little too quickly, the chunks wouldn't load, and you would smash into basically nothing, dying of kinetic energy. This had happened to me, and also happened to Solid. However, we recovered our loot. And that about wraps it up for episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed the beginning episode for season 4. I'm going to be doing some new things with the episodes. And yeah, just make sure you like, sub, comment, and share the damn video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, see ya.